Hello everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well, and today we've got some news about Rian Johnson's Star Wars Trilogy, and how apparently it is still on, even though there's been no indication given from Lucasfilm directly about it being worked on, and the excuse being given is, well, he's really busy. And so, therefore, there is no actual timeline or time frame. We also have the fact that Gina Carano has recently given an interview where she reveals some pretty disturbing and, I would say, angering things about Disney and what they tried to make her do as far as apologize for simply being a person. But before diving into these two stories, please be sure to smash the like button, especially if you're watching over on Minds or on Odyssey. I do upload all of my videos to Odyssey and to Minds. They're alt video tech platforms. They are fantastic. So if you are sick and tired of YouTube and censorship, those are great platforms to support me on. If you watch on Odyssey, you can actually gain free cryptocurrency tokens through the library system over there, and you can actually donate them to your favorite content creators. And so if you wish to donate to me, please consider joining over on Odyssey. But let's go ahead and dive into this first story because, man, oh man, Rian Johnson, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. It feels like it changes every single month, week, year at this point. At the end of the day, it doesn't seem like anyone honestly knows what's going on here, so all we can really go off of is what has been revealed so far and what is actually on the calendar. And as of this moment, there is no real confirmation that Rian Johnson is indeed still working on a Star Wars trilogy, because he is very much basically taken up with other projects. The fact that he is going to write Knives Out Part 2, Knives Out Chapter 2, Knives Out 2, whatever it is that he calls it, before his next Star Wars project, to me kind of shows that, yeah, he cares more about these indie projects, which, to be honest, I think is a much better forte for him than the Star Wars universe, because obviously he is one of the main reasons why Star Wars has been destroyed, because of the subversion of expectations narrative that he tried to shove down everyone's throats, which ended up ruining several characters, especially Luke Skywalker, which led to this huge catharsis that so many people had during the most recent season of The Mandalorian, when that character returned, and many people were just crying with joy because they were actually seeing the Luke Skywalker that they remembered versus whatever piece of garbage was put out in The Last Jedi. But people are still talking about it nonetheless, and there are many people who are claiming secret information and inside sources, and I've always been very skeptical of these different things, because inside sources to me can either be good or they can be bad. Also remember that companies have been notoriously known to actually give out false information to, one, find out who their leakers are, but also, two, to be able to try and throw people off the scent and make people look stupid and therefore not trustworthy. And so therefore I always try to avoid those as much as I possibly can, or at the very least try to give a full context of the information that we have so far. Anyway, this comes from John F. Trent over at Bounding Into Comics, and it says here, Rian Johnson, the director of Star Wars The Last Jedi, reportedly confirmed that his previously announced Star Wars trilogy is still in development. Author Soraya Wilson recently revealed she did an interview with Johnson and claimed that the trilogy announced by Lucasfilm back in 2017 is still in development. Wilson first posted to Twitter revealing she had spoken with Johnson for about an hour. She wrote, quote, "You guys, I just got to chat with Rian Johnson for the last hour and it was so much fun. He is the best." Followed with, "I'm still grinning. Oh boy, there is Rian Johnson. Hey, I will say this much for him. He looks almost the exact same as he did beforehand. Now, whether or not that's a good thing or not, obviously, is going to be up to you." It goes on to say Wilson would then go on to reveal that during her discussion with Johnson, he revealed that Kylo Ren and Rey were having romantic feelings towards each other throughout The Last Jedi. Oh, great. Oh, so the Reylos are going to be happy once again, just like anyone else wanted. It's so stupid. She explained, quote, "If anybody questions whether or not Reylo were meant to be romantic, you can stop speculating. Rian absolutely saw them as a romance," end quote. Here's the thing. No one actually gives a damn about what Rian Johnson wanted for the characters, because he obviously didn't care about what George Lucas wanted for the characters, because if he did, he would not have turned Luke Skywalker into Jake Skywalker. He would not have basically done a lot of the things he did with those various characters, because it would have meant he had to respect the source material, he would have had to have respect the canon and the fandom, and of course we know that he did none of those things. So please spare me while you go on to say, ooh, this was his intention, because I don't give a damn about what his intentions are. In a subsequent tweet, Wilson added, quote, "I mean, there was more to their stories and growth and arcs, but he saw them as romantic and intimate." Yes, because that's exactly what we want to hear in a Star Wars story. He goes on to say, she went on to say, quote, "I'm just going to post this now because I can see that I'm going to get a lot of requests. Yes, Ryan's Star Wars trilogy is still on. No dates or timelines because he has other projects going on, but it is happening. That's all I know about it." See, here's the thing. It's not just a movie, it's a trilogy. He claims that it's still going on, and yet Disney has given us no indication that that is actually the case. In fact, newer films from newer creators that were never even on the radar have been announced before this one. No one is honestly interested in his Broom Boy trilogy because he has destroyed Star Wars. So even if, and again, obviously anything's possible because we all know that Disney does not care. Right? Disney does not care about the fans. That was made very apparent when The Last Jedi came out, and it became even more apparent recently with their treatment of Gina Carano. But with all of these things happening, it is just so insane to me that we are continuously being pulled back and forth about this very subject. And something tells me that Sarai Wilson probably put this out there because she knew this would dredge up the debate once again, and therefore it would get her comment a lot of clicks, a lot of attention. And that, to me, is something that probably Rian Johnson wants because he doesn't really care about fans, right? He would love to see and just sit back on Twitter as everyone, fights and debates over this and over this very issue and topic. And so I think that he probably mentioned that for that very reason because let's just be honest here. There does not seem to be any real indication, at least based on what's been announced and what has been talked about, that there would be any room for him to have a trilogy, at least at this point in time. And let's just be honest. We know that financially that would be one of the dumbest decisions that they could possibly make. And, oh man, Sarai Wilson, I'm surprised that she's not Twitter checkmark verified because that typically tends to be the kind of crew that hangs out with people like Rian Johnson. Talking about Star Wars still, Gina Carano gave an interview recently where she revealed that she essentially, that Lucasfilm tried to force her to apologize to the pronoun gang for putting beep, bop, boop in her profile. Yes, they wanted to force her to apologize, which is one of the many reasons why I continuously will show love and support towards Gina Carano because she has shown herself to be someone that cares about not just only freedom of speech and freedom of expression, but also respect for the ideas and the opinions that other people have. And I think that's something that is so drastically needed in Hollywood when everyone, it seems at least in Hollywood, is all about orange man bad. And if you're a conservative, libertarian, independent of any kind, that this somehow makes you an Islamophobe. It's just so great to have someone who's worked in Hollywood, who's worked in one of the biggest franchises in all of history now at this point, actually step out and stand up for the regular everyday person. All right, so going into this article by John F. Trent as well. Former The Mandalorian actress Gina Carano, who played Cara Dune on the show, recently revealed Disney and Lucasfilm attempted to force her to apologize to the pronoun gang before the second season of The Mandalorian debuted on Disney+. Carano spoke with former New York Times columnist Barry Weiss, where she revealed, quote, "Earlier on last year, before The Mandalorian came out, they wanted me to use their exact wording for an apology over pronoun usage." The actress continued, "I declined and offered a statement in my own words. I made clear I wanted nothing to do with mocking the transgender community and was just drawing attention to the abuse of the mob in forcing people to put pronouns in their bio." And that, I think, shows you what kind of a person that she is. She is not a hateful person. She is not pushing for hate or anger. What she is doing is she's trying to point out that it goes both ways. Just like she is not going to go after anybody, if she sees people going after others simply for having an opinion or a worldview, guess what? She is going to stand up for them. And that's why I will say Cara Dune, played by, of course, the great Gina Carano, is a character that is going to be sorely missed in the Star Wars. I know a lot of people disagree with that, saying, oh, she was but a blip in the Star Wars universe, but let's just be honest here. The most attention and the most conversations about Mandalorian, especially now in the wake of all of this, has been about whom? That's right, Gina Carano's Cara Dune, who has been the toy that's been selling out because people have been trying to get their hands on it. That's right, it's Cara Dune. It is not the character played by Pedro Pascal. It goes on. Weiss then detailed that Lucasfilm punished her by excluding her from all press and promotion for the show. Carano stated, "That was heartbreaking, but I didn't want to take away from the hard work of everyone who worked on the project, so I said okay." That is how they treat people just because they have a different perspective and point of view. Remember, all she did was put beep, bop, boop in her profile. She made it clear that her attempt was not to try and disparage anyone or to attack anyone, but was rather there to try and say, hey mob, if you want to go after somebody, go after me because I can take it. And therefore they were offended by that because, again, if you don't have right think, you are the enemy in the eyes of Disney, Lucasfilm, and most other people in Hollywood. It goes on to say, quote, that was the last time I was contacted about any type of public statement or apology from Lucasfilm. Carano then revealed she found out she was fired. This also is something that really frustrated me. She found out she was fired from The Mandalorian over social media. Quote, I found out through social media, like everyone else, that I had been fired, end quote. That is insane. It totally doesn't surprise me, right? Because Disney is notorious, Lucasfilm is notorious for this kind of petty behavior. But to be honest, it's just crazy that we still live in a world where these giant companies and corporations will utilize social media in such a way. Because they did it in this capacity, to me, it just makes it even more clear that Disney and Lucasfilm, for some reason, care about the opinions of a bunch of people on Twitter, of all places. And it shows the power that social media has. Even though when we actually step back and we look at the accounts and we look at what's going on, there's been a lot of connections made to bots. There's been a lot of connection made to people who don't even buy the product, who are just complaining all day. I honestly think, and I'm just concerned about the future in just society in general, that someone will essentially be canceled just for having an opinion, just because also of a group of bots / losers on Twitter who are going off on people just because of their opinion. I think that is insane, and this is something that needs to be fought tooth and nail. That's the reason why I've been very much supportive of alt-tech platforms. Obviously, Parler is back. I'll be talking about that more on the show tonight. I've also been utilizing things like Gab a bit more, and of course, you all know that my central focus is on Minds because I actually believe in that platform, and also uploading my videos to Odyssey as my main video platform as well. But it's this kind of stuff that should make any of us terrified, because if it can happen to someone like Gina Carano, who, again, if you actually look to the things she said, if you actually look to the way that she worded things, she never went on, tirades against people, right? She never went like Pedro Pascal, cursing people out, calling Trump supporters Nazis, right? She never went after anyone in that way. She simply posted things trying to call out, basically by mocking the cancel culture that we live in. I think that that is just truly insane that she was attacked and that she was vilified and is still being vilified for that very reason, when so many other people, even if they are from the same side, have done so much worse and have really represented and misrepresented the company and probably cost the company actual more real life dollars than what Gina Carano could ever do. Because remember, most of the people complaining, let's just be honest here, do not actually have Disney Plus, probably don't even watch The Mandalorian, because they, again, only get their kicks from complaining on social media. And again, this is completely insane. So it goes on to say, that, talking about what happened, about how she got fired, the press statement from Lucasfilm, which is still to this very day ridiculous, about the actual comment. Here is the post once again. All she did was repost from someone else, and it simply pointed out that how is it any different from seeing people being bullied for having different views and perspectives today than what we have seen happen in our history previously. I think that there are a lot of correlations to be made, and for anyone to say that what she posted is anti-Semitic or anything like that, it's just blatantly false, blatantly not true, and is, I think, an indication that some people probably need to, get off of social media for a little bit and probably start to embrace, some truthful statements, and probably stay away from things like CNN, MSNBC, ABC, and all the other mainstream media outlets, Fox News too, and actually, embrace reality. But anyway, this is insane stuff to me. What are your thoughts, though? Let me know your thoughts on the Gina Carano thing. Again, the fact that she found out she was fired over social media and that she was essentially pressured to, and they tried to force her to apologize just for putting Beep Bop Boop in her profile is insane. And what are your thoughts about Rian Johnson? Do you think that his trilogy is still on? To me, I think it is kind of 50-50 at this point, because if Disney is willing to fire someone, to fire a very popular person from one of their franchises over social media without even telling her that she's fired, then at that point, honestly, they could easily bring back Rian Johnson, even though they would know that it would tick off a lot of people, probably cost them a lot of money in the process, all to make a political point, because unfortunately, a lot of companies today care more about politics than they do about most other things. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about all of these things in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash the like button, most especially if you're watching over on Odyssey or Minds. Again, you do have those as options to watch these videos in the future. I am now posting again more on Gab, Minds, And Parler is back. Parler's having a lot of issues, and to be honest, the more I'm using it, I'm reminding myself about why I wasn't a big fan of Parler in the first place. But anyway, you guys are awesome. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members: Albertus Magnus, Ali C83, Andrew Hoyle, Animation Commentator, Brian P, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, The Honky Chonky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jay, Jeff Toon, Jonathan Carney, Laura Story, the Modern Major General, Mag Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Riff Magos, Rosetta Unnen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Benden, Tina Bojan, and Tina B, the Empress of the Universe. Thank you so very much for being my Patreon members. And a huge shout out also to my Subscribe Star members: Stan 4, John B, Perpetual Punster, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Nebanon G. Adams, and the K-Man. Thank you all very much for being my Subscribe Star members, and to all people who support the channel. It really does mean a lot. If you want to support the channel and have your name shouted out, please make sure that you join on Patreon or Subscribe Star today. If you sign up at the $5 or up level, you also get access to exclusive giveaways, including for 4K and Blu-ray titles. At the $10 level, you get all of that, plus you get access to an exclusive podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger. There's actually currently an episode that I made public on the channel right now, so you can go ahead and check that out. If you want to have more access to even more episodes and more content and the ability to ask us questions, please feel free to check that out as well. And if you join at the $25 level and up, the Chosen of Valhalla level, you get to have all of those things, plus you get a free t-shirt that first month that you sign up for it, and every month you will be able to access the Chosen of Valhalla live stream, where me and my Chosen just talk for about 2, 3, sometimes even 4 hours about whatever it is that they want to talk about. So check all of that out in the links in the description below. You are all amazing and beautiful people. We all have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.